Hello, it's me again. I'm going to continue reading from my book, The 1900s. Let's go! Fond and sad memories. We steamed southward from Indian Harbor, and upon our arrival at Battle Harbor, our commander was met by a flood of telegrams from the press and from various geographical and scientific societies at home and abroad. As we steamed southward on our last lap with this great explorer, we often reviewed the year that had gone so quickly and our relations with our leader. I well remember falling through the ice at 59 below zero, with sealskin boots filled with water and rapidly stiffening clothes. I arrived at an encampment of snow houses. Perry beat the ice from my bearskin pants, pulled off my boots, and wiped my feet and legs with the inside of his worn shirt. And when covered with blood, a heavy 40 to 82 bullet having passed through my arm into my shoulder and out through the back and clipping the side of one finger. I would much rather had that thing happen to me than to you. Is it any wonder that we, as assistants, when we heard the blowing of the whistles of Sydney North NS, beheld the line of crabs circling out to escort us into the harbor, saw waving flags and docks black with people, should be almost sorry that he had won out. We knew that never again would we have the honor and the pleasure of serving under such a leader. Chapter 5! Yay, we're on the last chapter now. Yay. Beyond American Boundaries. The rise of American imperialism. Warren Zimmerman. Foreign U.S. Ambassador to Yugoslavia, Warren Zimmerman shares his views on America's imperialism during the late 1800s and early 1900s. He contends that, contrary to popular belief, America was not at all isolated in the late 1800s. By then, Zimmerman writes, the United States was already a would-be imperialist power. He attributes the rise of American imperialism to popular theories on social Darwinism, the development of a larger navy, and the influence of the press and powerful politicians. During the early 1900s, Americans had a new and stronger sense of mission brought to the forefront and kept there by such politically astute and determined leaders as Theodore Roosevelt. In 1898, America's role in the world changed forever. A country whose power and influence had been largely limited to the content of North America has suddenly acquired a global reach that it would never relinquish. The march of events behind this transformation has the staccato urgency of an old movie-tone newsreel. On April 25th, 1898, 2 months after the sinking of the USS Maine in Havana Bay, the United States goes to war with Spain over Cuba. On May 1st, some 8,000 miles away in the Philippines, Admiral George Dewey destroys the Spanish fleet of Manila. On June 21st, the U.S. Navy seizes the tiny Spanish-held island of Guam with its fine Pacific harbor 1,000 miles east of Manila. The zigzag pattern of conquest continues from the Caribbean to the Pacific and back. On July 1st, Lieutenant Colonel Theodore Roosevelt, attired in a brass button uniform just bobbed from the Brooks Brothers, leads his Rough Riders in an exuberant charge, on foot, up San Juan Hill in eastern Cuba. Routing a poorly armed Spanish force, Roosevelt's troops take the heights overlooking Santiago Bay, where 2 days later the U.S. Navy wins the battle for Cuba by capturing an entire Spanish squadron. On July 7th, President William McKinley exulted in the expansionist fervor annexes Hawaii under de facto control of American sugar planters since 1893. On August 13, Maria falls to Dewey. The next day, the U.S. Army takes control of the Spanish island colony of Puerto Rico after an efficient 9-day campaign launched almost as an afterthought to the action in Cuba. On December 10th, by the Treaty of Paris, Spain cedes to the United States the Philippines, Guam, and Puerto Rico, none of which had been important pre-war American objectives. Spain also renounced its sovereignty over Cuba, which had been the principal U.S. objective, thus opening the island to American military rule. America becomes an empire, and so, by force of arms, America in only a few months' time had gained territorial possession on both the Atlantic and Pacific sides of its continental mass, nor did imperial expansion end with 1898. In an 1899 division of Samoa with Germany, the United States acquired the strategic deep-water harbor off Pago Pago. A Dragon Line bases, or coaling stations, as they were called in the age of steam, now ran from California to Hawaii to Samoa to the Philippines. This change of positions made possible the extension of American political and economic influence to China. An opportunity Secretary of State John Hayes' open-door policy of 1899 was designed to see. The new imperialism culminated in the linking of America's Atlantic and Pacific holdings via a canal across the narrow waist of Central America. President Roosevelt set this project in motion in November 1903, subverting the government of Colombia to produce an ostensibly revolutionary Panamanian government willing to sign the requisite treaties. By 1903, America's role in the world had been transformed. Throughout the 19th century, the country had expanded steadily, but its growth had been overland. To the Hispanic South, to the sparsely populated West, even to non-continuous Alaska. Now, however, the nation expanded overseas. Indeed, all its new acquisitions were islands. This burst of offshore conquest, compressed to the last 2 years of the old century and the first 3 of the new, made the United States a genuine empire. The United States would never again acquire as much territory as it did during those eventful years, but that half-decade marked a turning point in the way America related to the world. It gave Americans and their leaders self-confidence, a sense of their own power, and an abiding belief that they could shape international life according to their values. Thus, it foreshadowed the often also ambiguities of America's waxing and waning global involvement during the whole of the 20th century. Please rate, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you're on TikTok, please like and follow me, and please pay for something on my eBay and or Mercari, okay? And on YouTube, please ring that bell notification so that you can know when to watch my videos, because I don't know when I upload. Okay, bye!